I think we can start now. So good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here tonight for our free masterclass on empowering HR and LD with generative AI, transformative skills for tomorrow's workplace. So 10 minutes before the session ends, I will drop the attendance form and certificate request link in the Zoom chat. So please make sure to complete it during the session. So now I'd like to take a moment to introduce our STEAM trainer tonight's class, Miss Santi Sukumaran. She is the former head of L&D at Bank and a session professional with 30 years of experience in the financial services industry. As a APD certified trainer in UK with a diploma in banking and finance. Miss Santi empowers individuals to achieve results through proven methodologies, including the Japanese best practices, and helps professionals drive meaningful, measurable change. So without further ado, let's begin. Miss Santi, over to you. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. Hope everybody is keeping well. Okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, everyone?
Yes, ma'am. Loud and clear.
Loud and clear. Excellent. All right. Let me just share my slides in a moment. You cannot start screen share while the other. Okay. Are you unsharing so that I can share?
Mom, done. You can share now.
All right. Okay. Are you able to see my screen, everyone?
Yes, mom.
Can. All right. Good evening once again. I'm Shanti Sukumaran. I was the director of L&D of a bank. I've opted to redirect myself, no longer with the bank, but I'm doing a corporate training now. So today the topic, empowering HR and L&D with generative AI. Now, being in HR for many, many years, I've been there for about 19, 20 years. So I can see the changes that's been happening, or that has happened. So AI is not only a technology shift. It has now moved to a workforce or workplace transformation, and HR and L&D is now in the center of this transformation. So that's why I feel this topic is so, so important and critical, especially for us HR and L&D practitioners. So before I begin, I would like to actually ask these two questions. Please drop in the chat box, yeah, if you have actually used any of the AI tools, for example, ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot. Please, can you just share a yes? And how was your experience? You can either let me know it's A, B, or C. I would appreciate that. Plus, I can't see the comments or the chat box. Do keep me advised, yeah? Pass. All right. So has everyone answered?
Someone answered C and D.
All right, good. Okay. So we have people using regularly. Great. That's good. That's good news. All right. Let me move on to the next slide. So first thing first, Module 1, Introduction to Generative AI, or we call it Gen AI, okay, in short. Now, we have been using AI for quite a long time, a few years already, but sometimes we did not realize that we're actually using this AI. And some form of the AI that we have been using in our system, for example, HRMS or HRIS, LMS, or even your applicant tracker, ATS, applicant tracking system. These are all some form of AI which has been built into the system. Okay, so, and this is called traditional AI. So traditional AI is about automating things. So for those of you who have been using the applicant tracking system for your recruitment, or the training department who has been using LMS, learning management system, there's some form of AI tool which is in the system. And this has changed now to a different level, which we call generative AI. So generative AI is now the current thing which creates. So automation, traditional AI, generative AI is analyze, create. It does a whole lot of different things. So let's explore it a little further. Now, as I mentioned, traditional AI built into the HR system. ATS, LMS, HRIS. This is where your payroll, your leave tracks, your performance management. So some form of traditional AI is already here. And how does it operate? It actually operates under a predictive rule base, meaning that there's preset algorithm or preset rules and instructions into the system. So you have been using AI, but the AI has got preset rules. Okay, so that's traditional AI. Let's move on further. And these systems or this AI operates in structured manner. It requires structured data, meaning that you cannot upload messy data. You've got to give it clean spreadsheets. You've got to give it clean and organized data. Only then you get the maximum output from traditional AI. The other thing is it follows a logic. For example, if you have a staff who has completed 1 year, if I've completed 1 year, then my leave entitlement is 24. If I've not completed 1 year, then my leave entitlement is prorated. So it follows a logic. So traditional AI follows a logic. Next thing. It supports decision, filtering, and scoring. Here, your credit, probably you're using a credit scoring. So it helps the decision maker to actually look at the customer, whether he's fit for the loan or he's not, whether the loan needs to be reduced or additional documents, additional collateral. So it supports your decision. The next one is traditional AI is not creative. It cannot write, it cannot generate any messages or emails. Okay, that's traditional AI. And last but not least, it actually works silently in the background. So we don't know. So these we have been using, but it works silently on the background. Now let's just explore Gen AI. Gen AI, on the other hand, is creative and language-based. What does language-based mean? Language-based mean it actually can understand the human language. So when it understands human language, it starts creating. Okay? So that's what generative AI is all about. And that's what we're using. ChatGPT, Claude, Bard, Gemini. It's all Gen AI. So it works on an unstructured, let me just shut this in. It works on an unstructured data. It can work on text messages. You don't have to, you don't have to your text prompt. You don't really have to have proper, accurate grammar. It can even work on simple text that you put in, but meaningful text, your prompts, we call it. And it can also act on voice. Or you can just take a feedback and just stick it there or paste it there, and it can actually work meaningful data from the whatever you have actually pasted. So it works on unstructured data. Next thing, it generates new content. It can actually give you emails, can draft emails, it can draft policy, it can come out with images. In fact, for the training today, most of my images were created by AI. So it doesn't copy from the internet, it creates new images. Okay, based on the prompt. So you have got to interact with this Gen AI for it to actually give you the meaningful output. So your input is very, very important. Next thing is it supports creation. It supports your writing. You want something to be created, you prompt it, it supports that. It becomes very creative. It can summarize, it can translate things. So it not only can analyze, it can create, it can summarize, it can translate. The next thing is it adapts to tone. Tone meaning, what are your values? What's the style you want? Do you want it to be very decisive style? Or do you want the tone to be very friendly or very firm? So you've got to put in the context here, the storytelling. You've got to put in the storytelling, and it will create whatever the output. The next thing is it is human guided and customizable. Human guided here means it is not autopilot. It can be customized. So you have got to tell what you want, and then it will be able to customize accordingly. So having said this, so again, traditional AI automated, Gen AI creative. So let's look at Gen AI further to see how it actually overlaps with the work that we do in HR and L&D. So I'm going into the next slide. So Gen AI in action here means that it is actually doing what we have been doing all along. For example, in HR, we write emails. Almost every day we write emails to someone. So what Gen AI can do is actually it can write the email, it can create a draft email for you. It can improve the email that you already have, or it can actually generate reports based on what you feed it. Yeah, and it can actually come up with certain articles. So this is something that you can capitalize on. See, again, I'm saying that it overlaps with our day-to-day work. So we need to know what Gen AI can actually help us with. The next thing is summarize or expand documents. For example, you get a new instruction from Bank Negara on foreign exchange rules and administrative rules with new inclusion or new updates. So you can actually take this new update, put it into the AI, paste it there, and it can summarize for you what's the thing that is new, what are the updates. Okay, and it can actually expand documents. Expand here meaning you want to, you have an objective for training, for example, you want to do a different leadership program, maybe a situational leadership program. You just put your objective and get the AI to actually help you expand how you can do the training. Is it a 1-day program, half a day program? What do you want? So it can expand from there. So I use AI a lot when I'm doing my training because it helps me to actually look at the entire spectrum of what module I want to conduct. Now, as for answering questions, HR never sleeps. We are always available 24/7 to answer questions and provide explanation. Similarly, AI helps us do that. We can actually get a lot of answers from AI anytime, 24 hours. Okay, and it also provides explanation to the answers. The next thing is creating images, graphics, and design. Like I mentioned, when I want to create images, I go into the AI and I just put what image I want. Whether I want a futuristic image, whether I want an image without human. So it actually creates the image. It gives me graphics, it gives me design. So it is actually a whole new experience when you're using AI. Next is this generating presentations. In HR, this is what we do. We present our statistics, we present updates, we present where we are in training and development, we present training, the modules, what we are going to do, your TNI, whatever you have done for the divisions or departments. So Gen AI actually can, instead of staring at a blank slide and thinking of what to put in, you can actually prompt the AI to actually help you and kickstart your presentation. From there, you can customize, and work on it. So again, it overlaps with our job. Draft policies and guides. Policy, this is heavy writing. You don't want to miss any particular points in your policy, and also guidelines. So Gen AI it actually works miraculously to actually draft your policies. And you can then suit it to your organization, your environment. So it helps. Okay, translates your brochures, your flyers, your leaflets from English to BM so that, you have an adaptive learning, or people who needs to understand it in a different language, or a tone. So you can use generative AI, which I have been using. I always translate assessments, assessments that we get it in English. I translate it to Bahasa Malaysia so that people can understand in both languages. So when they answer the assessment, they actually can relate to it. So this is what we have been doing in HR. Okay. So moving on, these are some of the AI tools. So commonly what we use is ChatGPT, Gemini. This is for text creation, okay? When you talk about visual arts, Canva. When you talk about coding, Microsoft Copilot. When you talk about audio and video, Synthesia. So these are some of the AI tools that's available. In fact, as I'm talking to you now, I'm actually using one AI called Notion AI. Notion AI, it's like a word pad. Every slide it tells me the talking point, or rather I just put in the talking points and I can actually look. It's like a teleprompter. So AI is like, it's so advanced, it can do a lot of wonders now. So next thing is, how does this AI work? We need to understand how AI operates. So AI is actually, it works, especially on the text-based AI. It works on a model or an engine called large language model. So if you look at ChatGPT, Gemini, or Claude, it's all powered by large language model. And each of these AI has got its own large language model. For example, ChatGPT works on OpenAI. Gemini is on Google, Claude is on Anthropic. So it all has a large language model. So what is this large language model? Large language model, basically, just give me a second. Large language model basically is a huge library. It is a huge library, and these AIs are trained on billions of words, which comes from books, websites, and articles. So when you put in a word, it actually looks into its library. Okay, so it's really huge. And what it does, it makes meaning, or it starts thinking like a human and starts structuring the sentences or the output using this large language model engine. So this is how AIs work, the Gen AIs work. So here again, when you give a prompt, when you give it a prompt, it creates responses like a human. So it actually knows the word, goes into the library, looks up, and it gives you the word, gives you the output. So for example, once you prompt it, it looks and it starts writing. It starts translating. It starts answering questions, and it starts summarizing. So this is how typically the Gen AI works. Okay. Moving on. So why does it matter for HR? How is it important for HR? So this is the question that we HR practitioners have to ask. Okay. First and foremost, what it does, it creates content so quickly. So you don't need to start looking into internet, start reading or looking for resources. It can create content so quickly simply because it has such a large library. Within, you ask the prompt and it can actually generate what you want. The output comes out. So it is really fast. And when this happens, it is actually using less resources. So it improves efficiency. It speeds up things. So you can focus more time on actually reading the content to see whether it suits you. So it improves efficiency. Of course, it improves time. It saves a lot of time. Saves time, improves efficiency. The next thing is it supports personalization. So here again, when we prepare a training, for example, a compliance training, AML training, we do a program that is generic for all. But when you use AI, right, it can actually personalize for interns. They need to know something about AML. For the executives or the frontliners, they need to know something more about AML. You can actually customize it to include mule accounts, or how do you do how do you ask the right questions, how you do the screening when opening account is done. So it supports personalization. So AI can actually create different content for different groups of people. Next, it supports creativity. Here again, when you talk about creativity, assuming you are having an induction, so what can you include in your induction? What kind of games? How can you gamify? So it supports creativity. You can just put in and say, help me be more creative, and it will actually give you some suggestions. It helps in decision making. You have an employee engagement survey just concluded, and there's a lot of feedback coming in. So what you can do is you can look at this, you can get AI to summarize the feedback and then see which area you want to focus on. Is it the benefits that you need to improve, or is it training? The staff are asking for more customized training, or is it leadership? So it helps you make decision. The next thing is future-ready workforce. I think this future-ready word is constantly used. So how do you get your employees to be future-ready? You got to get them to be familiar with the AIs, be familiar with what AI can actually do for them. So you got this is one way to get the workforce to be future-ready. Yeah, get them exposed to AI, the use of AI. However, there are certain rules and guidelines and boundaries that you've got to follow. So we'll discuss about that in the next coming slides, yeah? The next thing, what is human resource all about? Human resource is all about people. So, sometimes we are so buried with admin work, so much of admin work that we forget the actual role of human resource, which is engagement, which is people, connecting with people. So if you use AI, if you capitalize on the AI, the usage of AI properly, you can actually spend more time on engagement, more time on coaching, more time on meeting people. So this is why AI is so important for HR practitioners. Yeah. Moving on. I've concluded module 1. So let me move on to module 2. Yeah, since it's a masterclass, I'm just going to give you the gist of it. Yeah. So module 2, we will focus a lot on ChatGPT, one of the AIs, Gen AIs, ChatGPT, and how HR and L&D can use ChatGPT as a co-pilot. Okay, let me go on. Yeah. First thing first, I'm going to repeat myself again here. So Gen AI, very quickly, Gen AI, what can it do for us? Okay, let's look at what it can do for us. Again, I've mentioned quite a few here earlier on, so it's going to be the same. It can draft content, it can email, it can create emails, JDs. Yeah. Because it operates on a large language model, there are times that, sometimes we miss certain things in the JD. It actually can give you a proper JD. From there, you can pick and choose, or you can actually select what the job role entails. Okay, it can help you with creation of JDs, policies, learning outlines, as I mentioned. Okay, it can actually help you with learning outlines, what you want to achieve, what are the key takeaways you want. So you can actually use AI to draft this content. Again, the next thing is rephrase and polish your writing. Sometimes when we write emails, we are very abrupt. I mean, it happens. Or we can be, our tone or our language. So AI can actually rephrase it to the tone that we want. Friendly, okay, or professional, or motivating. So it can actually rephrase your email. It can polish your writing. It can simplify. For example, simplify your email, which is so lengthy, you just want point. It can actually take out the points and put it into your email. Okay, and draft the email. Summarize long info. For example, employee, say, customer service survey. So here you have so much of information. It's so messy to look at so many charts, so many graphs. So it can actually summarize what's the gist that you want to look at. Where should improvement be? It gives you insights. It cleans up your information and it gives you insights. Generating ideas, here interview questions, very, very customized to the position, very customized to the seniority. It can help you create interview questions. L&D topics, salespeople, they've gone for many, many sales programs. Now they want something new, something different, something fresh. So you can actually prompt AI to actually, or ChatGPT to actually give you something that is current, something else. I've done all this. What else can we do? Can we upskill the people? What else can we use for development, for developing them? You know, so it'll help you generate ideas. Sometimes even experiential learning. It can give you ideas on how you can actually use experiential learning for certain positions, certain roles. Again, translate tone and language, formal to casual, English to BM, personalized compliments. People who have just completed certification, you want to send, a congratulatory note, or you want to, appreciate them for their achievements, it can actually customize it, can actually create an email which is so inspiring. Yeah. Next, creating templates, SOPs, onboarding plans, checklist. It can merge a few templates. So use it. This is what it can do. So Gen AI or Chat GPT can help you with all these things. What it cannot do, let's explore what it cannot do. It cannot access your internal systems or files. It doesn't know your people. It doesn't know your policy. So you've got to feed information. But again, feeding information, there's an ethical way, there's a guideline that you need to follow. So Chat GPT doesn't have any records of your internal files. Okay. So it cannot assess, cannot look at. So you cannot expect it to know when you want something, you've got to prompt it correctly. What it cannot do is it cannot make decisions. It gives you suggestions. Okay, the judgment at the end of the day is yours. So it could give you many suggestions, but you have got to use your judgment. You've got to use what is it that you want to achieve at the end of the day. You've got to put in emotional factors. You've got to put in credible factors and make the judgments. Yeah. Again here, ChatGPT does not understand emotion or the culture of the organization. It writes tone when you request for what tone you want. It cannot feel or it cannot relate to the tone. So you have got to prompt it. You understand the emotion, you understand the culture. Okay. And it cannot replace human connection. What I said earlier, see, HR's job is to build trust, build the connection, build the network, ultimately build the collaboration of people to achieve your goals. So ChatGPT or the Gen AI cannot do this. This is HR's job. This is people's job, human job. So humanity comes from us. We build the trust. Gen AI supports it. Okay. And again, here, you cannot assume that whatever the output that comes from the Gen AI is going to be correct or accurate. Okay, it may sound very confident, but it requires a lot of checking. So when I do my, when I use the Gen AI, right, I do multiple checkings. I use Perplexity is another AI. This AI actually, when it comes to law, regulation, guidelines, I use Perplexity because Perplexity gives citations. It gives you where the source is coming from. I use Bart Gemini to actually confirm whatever ChatGPT has given me. So this part you have to do. You have to do the checking. You have to make sure that whatever output is accurate. Yeah. So remember, ChatGPT or Gen AI has got restrictions. Okay. Moving on. I'm going to the next module. AI across the employee life cycle. Here, we're going to talk about the touch points. Okay, whatever touch points in HR. So AI supports HR from hire to retire. Okay, our role in HR is hiring people, okay, developing people, managing performance, and also retaining people. So we have got a role here to play, and this is called the employee's journey. Okay, so how can AI actually support or help us at every touch point of this journey? So, so the journey, let me just put it here: recruitment, talent acquisition, onboarding. This is when you onboard people. Okay, learning and development, talent management, succession planning. You're developing people, you're growing people. Okay, performance appraisal. This is managing performance. Finally, employee engagement. This is where retention, people stay with you. Okay, they give you feedback and how you improve and get retain people. So how does AI support? Let's look at this each one individually. So here, you can't need to push this up. Okay. First thing, let's look at recruitment and talent acquisition. So you can actually use ChatGPT to create employee branding, to create the content or career pages in social media. Okay. Here again, there's one AI called Jasper. Jasper is a paid AI. So it is very good when you want to create branding. You can use Jasper AI to create very impactful branding. Okay. Next is it can actually draft job description, job ads based on seniority, based on role, very, very comprehensive JD. So later on, we will do one example of a JD for you to understand how, it can help, how it helps you, how the output comes out. It can help you summarize your CVs. When you say summarize, probably you want to look at achievements. Can summarize and amplify the achievement. So in your interview, you can actually put a note and maybe focus on, asking the candidate to explain more on the achievements. The next thing is it can generate screening and interview questions. You can actually get your question based on position, based on the seniority, again here on what role you're employing the person for. So your interview questions are very targeted. Next thing is it can draft candidate communication, whether the candidate is successful or whether it's a rejection or a reminder to come for a second interview or follow up with documents can help you with that. Next thing is it can outline recruitment workflows step by step. It guides you. So in recruitment and talent acquisition, you can actually use AI for all these things. And this will actually ensure a professional and consistent communication with candidates. That means the way your professionalism or how you actually structure your communication is so consistent for everyone. So you can actually come up with a template. Yeah. AI will help you with a template. So the next role, onboarding and induction. This is especially when you're onboarding someone new who is fresh, a newbie who has never actually worked. This is their first job. So coming into a new job, sometimes it's overwhelming for the candidate or for the staff, yeah, because it's no longer a candidate, it's a staff now, it's an employee. So it's overwhelming. It could be boring, or it could be, anxiety, or it could be something that they don't know where to look for the information. So how do you actually capitalize on AI for your onboarding and induction? Let's look at it. So first thing first, of course, drafting a welcome email, a very inspiring and a friendly email. You can use AI for this. Sometimes our emails are very standard, but you can actually, put in what tone you want and make it more inspiring. If you're actually recruiting management trainees, you need inspiring and motivating emails. Yeah. Next, creating onboarding checklists for tailored for each role. For example, branch manager coming from another bank, another organization, a bank. So you can actually create a checklist where they need to transfer their licenses. So your checklist is very customized for branch managers. Can do that. Yeah. Next, simplify policies into employee-friendly language. So if you have a person this is their first job, so you need to give them something where they can actually understand simple language. Yeah, so important. Sometimes our policies are very technical. We use technical jargons, so we simplify it for them. Again, another thing is preparing onboarding guides and FAQs. Where do you get this? When do you get this? Or how do you get it? Where do you go? Which floor do you go to for your IT support? Preparing onboarding guide. Next is induction activities. What can you put into your induction to make it exciting? Or buddy introduction. In your induction, probably you want to introduce who's the buddy for this new employee. So AI can suggest all this. Yeah. And how does this help us? Okay. It helps us create structured, consistent, and very personalized tone, which shapes employee experience. This is the first impression. So doing this creates a very positive employee experience. Yeah. So let me move on to the next role. Learning and development. This is my favorite area. Learning and development. See, sometimes coming up with modules after looking at the TNI or the TNA, you probably cracking your head. What module can I come up? How can we actually, come up with a development module or a structured series? So capitalize again on AI. AI can help you a lot. Most of my training now, I actually counter check or I use AI to help me to see if I've missed out anything. Yeah. So for example, AI, it can actually design learning topics objective. It can give you the outline, the key takeaways, the methodology that you can actually conduct the training, how to make it exciting. Yeah. It can build training modules, whether it's a half-day module, a one-day module, or it's a modular series. For example, a relationship manager in corporate banking. Yeah. What are the modules that you need to actually, if it's a junior level, it's an entry level, what are the modules? If it's, someone who has been there for 3 years, what modules can you actually, credit modules that you can actually put in? A senior level, probably some exposure to the market, to capital market, to what investment bank is doing. So, exposure to universal banking. So you can build your modules accordingly. It can be micro learning, it can be bite-sized learning. So AI will help you. Yeah. Again, it has a library. It can help you with so many things, so many suggestions. Activities in your training, icebreakers. We may be using the same icebreakers, so you can actually suggest different icebreakers for different training programs. What are the role plays? What are the discussions? What are scenarios that you can actually put into your training module to help the learners, absorb learning better or relate better to learning? Yeah. Generate quizzes. Yeah. Here again, if you're doing, your pre and post test, it can come up with questions. Looking at what module you have, it can generate quizzes, 10 questions, reflective questions. What have you learned? How are you going to apply the learning? You can come up with questions. Hello. Yeah. Uh, anyone saying something? Again? I can't hear you. Can I continue?
No, I
Yes.
think it's accidentally.
All right. So I can continue. Pass?
Okay, ma'am. Go ahead, thank you.
I didn't hear you. Can I continue?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
Next thing is tone for different learner. Okay, Gen Z, their learning probably is different. Executives different. Your senior team, the learning is different. So how do you actually customize programs for different groups? Yeah. Learning invites and reminders. How do you send exciting learning invites? So people are so excited to come for the program. Yeah, I will share with you a sample later on. Yeah, how do you humanize the AI generated learning invite? Yeah. Next is summarize post training. Yeah, when you do a QR code, you've gotten feedback from your participants. How do you actually use AI or ChatGPT to summarize this feedback to give you clear insights? So what do you need to focus on? What other areas probably should be included in the training? So you can use ChatGPT for this. So how does this help us? Okay, it supports adaptive and engaging learning cycle. Most importantly, adaptive learning cycle. Different category of people adapt to different learning styles. So you can customize it accordingly. Yeah. Moving on, talent management and succession planning. How can AI help us in talent management and succession planning? Drafting talent profiles, skills, performance, potential. Here again, you've got to feed the info. So when you're feeding info, you've got to follow certain guidelines. We'll talk about that. So you've got your talent profile, you feed the info, it can actually, categorize for you. It can tell you, or you feed in the performance rating for the past 2 years. It can actually quickly do a profile for you. Yeah. Similarly, identify high potential employees and succession risk. Here again, using your 9-box grid template, it can create a template for you, and you can actually look at who are your high posts, who are your shining stars, who is your potential leader, who is actually potentially at risk, who is underperforming, But again, here, it is the output and not the people. So I will guide you on how you actually need to input this data, yeah, to get the output from for your talent management and succession planning. Okay. Next, summarize development conversation. What what development initiatives do you want to put in? How do you strengthen their gaps? Suggestion of probably a project, suggestion of, a stretch assignment, or suggestion of moving to another department or for a short while, to understudy. So AI or ChatGPT can summarize development, what are the gaps and how you can actually plan to narrow the gaps. Okay. And the next thing is suggest career path for growth options. Yeah. So what are the career paths, or what are the suggested ways that you can actually put this person to be ready, in the next 1 year to actually take on the next role or be a successor. So it can give you suggestions on the career path. For salespeople, for example, they have done sales for so many years. How can you actually move them to a team leader? What path can you suggest? Okay, what are the products? Branch manager, there's so many products for them to sell. So how can you actually chart the career path? So it can help you. What does this do? So this helps us to get the talent ready for future. Okay, so it focuses a lot on future insights, and it helps us in planning the succession map. Yeah, so we actually know where we're going to put this person. So here, your templates, your charts, your talent reviews, you can actually come up with a 360 feedback to help you do all this. You can come up with a structured manner where you can deploy this to the leaders, maybe a 360 feedback, and get input on how the talent is performing. Next, performance appraisal. Yeah. Performance appraisal, you can draft reminders, especially when appraisal people forget the deadlines, so you can actually draft reminders and for self-reviews, deadline submission in a very, tone that it's a reminder tone, the importance. So you can be firm, okay, that this is your appraisal is coming and your appraisal is deadlines are here nearing. So you know how your reminders can be worded. So this again, how you want it to be. Summarize achievements to connect to the KPIs. You can actually look at how they have actually, or the particular staff or the particular employee has actually done in terms of achieving the KPI and in terms of achieving the business objective. You look at the achievement, you get a summary from the balance scorecard. You can actually paste the balance scorecard, put in what is the achievement, what is the required achievement, and you can do a summary. Yeah. Next, draft balance and constructive professional performance comments. Sometimes our comments is the same for everyone, or leaders or managers put the same comments for everyone. So you can have a very balanced, a more motivating comment, or more appreciative comment, when you want to write in your performance appraisal. So it can help you draft that. Next, spot patterns of and ensure fairness and reduce biasness. For the past 1 year, mid-year performance same, final year performance same, but there's a lot of contribution. So how you can actually feed this comment and see, is there fairness? There should be improvement. So how is it worded? How can you actually move from if you haven't met, how you have met, maybe from a rating 2, how you move to a rating 3. It can actually spot this pattern. Yeah. Next is suggest development intervention for growth. I've actually touched on this topic earlier. So you can actually come up with whatever suggestions on how to improve the performance. What are the development initiatives or interventions that you can actually suggest? And it can structure bullet points into polished performance summary. So when you have a calibration, how you actually do your performance summary, it becomes very polished and very performance driven, for example. Yeah. So here again, it helps HR in managing performance management in a fair and forward-looking process. Yeah. So last but not least, employee engagement. Employee engagement, design survey questions. What is it? What's the theme? Are you looking at staff morale? Are you looking at recognition? Are you looking at leadership? Are you looking at the well-being of the staff? Okay, so you can actually get ChatGPT or AI to actually design survey questions based on the theme. Promote participation with clear communication. Here again, getting people to participate in the survey, calling them to participate in a very friendly and promising manner. Yeah. So whether it's going to be anonymous, you can actually put it into your communication message. Summarize feedback and themes and trends. Once you get the engagement survey, how do you summarize this feedback? How do you use it to actually get recommendation and improve, or get ideas on how you can move forward? So employee engagement survey is one area where you can actually use ChatGPT or AI. What does it do? It keeps HR connected to the people. Connected, this is what we want. Spend more time with the people. Yeah. So let me move on. Module 4, mastering prompts for impactful results. Now, this is so important. I cannot emphasize how important prompts are, because what you input is what you get. What you input is the quality of your output. So why prompts matter? The better you prompt, the better your output is. So here you've got to say what you want, how you want it, or why you need it. Okay, so let's look at one example, yeah? Prompting, what you want, what is it for, who is it for, and how it should sound. So let me give you an example of probably recruitment and talent acquisition. Example, you are asking for a JD for a senior credit analyst. So how do you incorporate what you want, what it is, who is it for, and how should it sound? So here, I've got a sample of the prompt. Write a job description for a senior credit analyst in the risk management function of a bank. The role should focus on evaluating loan proposals, identifying risks, ensuring compliance with credit policies, and making recommendation to the credit committee. Make it professional and motivating, suitable for experienced candidates in credit risk. So I'm going to show you, right? I'm going to actually copy this, yeah, and paste it into ChatGPT. So let me paste it in ChatGPT. Can you see my slide? Pas, can you actually see the ChatGPT
Yes,
slide?
yeah,
You can,
yes,
right?
ma'am. It's
Okay,
visible.
so I'm going to paste it now. Now I'm using a paid version. So you may use the not paid version, right? And the outcome may differ. So let's look at this outcome that we're going to get. So this is how, when you paste your prompt properly with all the what, who, why, how, yeah, and you're going to get a job description done in this manner. Okay, so you look at key responsibility, about the role, key responsibility, qualification and experience, what we offer. Now I see something that I may want to improve here. For example, since it's a senior role, you know, this role has to oversee or manage a group of junior credit analysts, for example. So I'm going to put here, please include managing, coaching, and leading junior analyst. Okay. Include leadership traits, for example. So let's see what happens. Yeah. So here again, ChatGPT will give you key responsibilities, leadership, mentorship. It gives you the points. Okay. So this is how we use the prompts properly so that the output becomes very useful. Yeah. Okay. You should try this. Okay. I've been using this, AI for looking at the JDs, looking at what learning outcomes I want. So it actually gives me very good output. Now, I have a few more examples. For example, onboarding. So draft welcome email and introduction for branch manager. Here again, draft a welcome email for a newly appointed branch manager. Now I've highlighted in blue, I've bold. So what is it that you want? What is it for? Who is it for? How should it sound? Yeah. To be sent by HR as part of onboarding in a warm, professional, and motivating tone that makes them feel valued and excited to begin their journey. So you get an email output. Here again, you can fine tune, you can rephrase, you can reword, yeah, you can get ChatGPT to help you. So one more example, learning and development, for example, build training modules and micro learning content for junior relationship managers. Design a structured training program outlined with 5 to 6 modules covering credit skills, trade finance, risk awareness, professional growth, where each module should be a 2-day module. Yeah. The outline is for junior corporate banking relationship managers who are new in the role. Present it in a clear, professional, and practical tone, focusing on skill building and role readiness. So how do you put it? You will get a few modules. It'll tell you all the modules. For example, the first module is about, what a relationship manager's role is. or what you need to do, what you need to understand about relationship manager. Then the next few other modules probably about, the credit side. How do you look at working capital cycle? How do you actually understand? How do you present how your credit writing skills, your trade finance, looking at LC, BA, TR, your risk awareness, how do you mitigate risk? Yeah. What would an approver look for when it comes to risk? So it's how you prompt. Yeah. So you can actually, like I said, revise, rework the content. So it doesn't only create, but it also helps you to improve what you already have. Yeah. So example, if you have actually put in something, you can, and it's too lengthy, you can tell it to make it shorter, make it simpler, rewrite in a positive way, or rewrite in an impactful manner, translate it into Bahasa Malaysia, reword it so that it's more impactful, or give, for presentation, for example, give me my talking points. What should it cover? Okay, you've created a slide for me. What are my talking points? What should I do? What should I say? Okay. Humanize. Now, most often than not, sometimes you get ChatGPT becoming very robotic. So how do you humanize it? Example, yeah, you're inviting someone for a training. Please be informed that your leadership workshop will be held on 25th August at 9 a.m. Attendance is mandatory. Ensure you complete the pre-read document, okay, before you attend. So this is very robotic style. How do you actually humanize it to make it exciting, or to make it, more professional, more friendly? Yeah, we're excited to invite you to the leadership workshop on 25th August, 9 a.m. This will be an important session where we explore new ways of leading in today's environment. To get the most out of it, please take a few minutes to go through the pre-read beforehand. Looking forward to seeing you there. So it actually changes the tone. So this was generated by ChatGPT. So again, how you prompt it. All you need to do is please humanize it in a friendly and professional manner, and you get this. Yeah. So next, this is the most important part when it comes to prompting. What should you do, or what can you do? There's boundaries set and what you cannot do. Yeah. So here again, when you are actually pasting information, you should never, never, never include an employee's real name or personal details. Confidentiality matters. Confidentiality is the utmost important thing, especially when we are in HR. Yeah, it is paramount. Confidentiality is paramount. Yeah. Now you can describe. You can actually put quotes. You can create dummy. Yeah, when you want to actually paste information, or paste a template in it. Describe the situation generally. Never, never use an employee's name. For example, you want to send a message, a stern message for an employee who has missed a deadline. So never put the employee's name. I want to create an email for Shanti, to Shanti because she has missed the deadline. I want the email to sound very firm and stern. Never, never use the employee's name. Yeah. Next thing is focus on the task and the outcome, not on the person. Say you want to address an attitude. So Shanti has an attitude, and I want an attitude improvement plan for Shanti. Never put the name, yeah? Say focus on the outcome. If I have an attitude, if I want to do an attitude improvement plan, what should the task, what should I do? What are the initiatives that I should do? What kind of development should I put in? What kind of, how can I sound more promising or more professional to ensure that it inspires the person to come out from the attitude? Yeah. So you have to actually learn to prompt it without using the person's name. Keep prompts clear, simple, and specific. Yeah. Clarity is so important. So again, I'm reminding you, what you input is what you will get as an output. So it's so important that you be clear. It doesn't have to be grammatically correct. Like I said, Gen AI understands human language. So it doesn't have to be grammatically clear, but grammatically correct. Yeah, it has to be clear. Next, Add the tone, the style, professional, firm, empathetic, friendly. Yeah, you got to add the tone that you want. So again, prompting, do's and don'ts. I want to remind you, confidentiality is paramount. Do not put in personal information, personal data. Next module. Here, we talk more about the ethical use of AI, ethical use of ChatGPT in HR. Yeah, for example, because I'm covering a lot on ChatGPT. Now, remember, AI does not protect your data. So whatever, in fact, whatever I'm keying in now, it actually has all the prompts that I've put in. So imagine if you have put in somebody's personal information, it actually stores this. More so if you're using the paid ChatGPT, it stores the data. So do not do that. So you have to protect the data. You have to protect your data. That is still your job. Yeah, it's not the AI's job. Again, AI supports your role. It is a co-pilot. You are still the pilot. You are still responsible no matter what. Yeah. You are responsible for what you put in. You are responsible for whatever information that you're going to share. Next, AI helps with the writing, not the confidential info. Like I said, it stores the information. Next, AI handles the task, but HR handles the trust. People trust you. AI is mechanical. People are human, okay? That's where trust comes. So you must remember that. Yeah, these are the 4 points that you got to remember when you're using AI. Next, AI is powerful, but there's a lot of risks also involved. Yeah. So what are the risks that you got to take into account? For example, remember I told you don't enter personal sensitive employee data. IC numbers, salary, promotions, health information, disciplinary records, names. Don't put all these things. Okay. You should not. More so when we are in HR. Okay, you should not put in all this information. Use general terms. Create dummy. A for manager, B for assistant manager, C for executive. Always create dummy or general terms when you want to use the AI, yeah, for it to create something for you. Don't treat AI outputs as 100% accurate. Don't copy and paste. Like I said, check, counter check with different AIs. Okay, because they all have different LLMs. Yeah. Review, verify, human prove it. Okay, read it. Don't copy paste. Don't expect it to be 100% accurate. Next is don't let AI decide for you. AI should never make the final decision. Yeah, it suggests. Okay, you have to come up with a conclusion. You have to come up with a judgment. You have to come up with a decision. Okay, you only use it as a draft. Don't jump into whatever conclusions that AI has given you, and that's final. Do not do that. Okay, so these are all the risks that you must understand when you're using AI. More so when you're using ChatGPT, yeah? Yeah, because that's very common now using ChatGPT. Okay, so ethical use again, I want to emphasize here, put people first, not technology. AI helps you to make decision, but it doesn't make the decision for you. And this is the other thing. When you use AI, be honest about it. Be honest that you have used AI. Yeah. Okay. This is where, you actually are open to using the AI and people know. See, HR nowadays, right? HR people, AI here is not to replace people, but the ability to use AI correctly. People who are able to use AI correctly will replace people who cannot. So you've got to be open if you're using AI nowadays. Yeah. Make sure the content reflects organization values, tones, and culture. You are in HR, you promote value, you promote the culture. You are the catalyst for this. So make sure whatever the content that it is coming out from AI reflects this tone, this culture, the values. Yeah. Next is spotting and avoiding bias. Again, AI works on LLM, large language model. So it has got a lot of data which probably is biased, which is discriminatory, which probably is outdated. Yeah, so you have got to check the data. You've got to make sure the output, you look at it. And again, sometimes AI will put in gender. For example, a JD, the leader has to have has to have coaching skills. He needs to coach people. Again, see gender. So you have to use you have to read the whatever output to make sure that there's no biasness, there's no he, there's no she. It has to be they. Okay. So it has to sound fair. So you have to apply your thoughtful judgment when you're looking at the output. Next, again, here, AI needs to the use of AI needs to have boundaries. Who can use it? How it is used, when it is used, record needs to be kept. It needs to be audited. So the normal ChatGPT does not have this. What you need to do is you need to, maybe look at using enterprise version ChatGPT. Your IT probably will have to have boundaries when you're using enterprise version. So enterprise version, the information is not shared. Yeah, it is very much confined to the organization. So here you will ensure compliance is met. You're working within boundaries, and information is not shared with outside. So use the enterprise version ChatGPT. And
Excuse me, Ma'am
yes,
Santi. So we'll need to wrap up the session
yes,
because
sure.
we've gone
I'm
over
coming to
time.
my last slide.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
my
Thank you
last
so
slide.
much.
You're welcome. So future work of human and AI collaboration. I want to conclude this. Yeah, this is my last slide here. HR won't be replaced, but it would be redefined. Yeah, it now has to be, again, I said it's a transformation of workplace. Now HR leads the judgment and empathy. AI is just the assistant. Remember, it's just your co-pilot. Now, HR professionals won't be the most technical. You don't have to be a coder. You don't have to be very technical savvy, okay? But you need to be adaptable. You need to be agile. Next is the human-centered workforce will be AI-enabled, meaning that you need to know how to use the AI. So it is not AI is replacing humans. It is human plus AI. Yeah. Next, AI is the modern toolkit and a skill that HR people need to know, where HR and AI needs to collaborate. And finally, the future of HR is speed, 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 efficiency. And the heart comes from the human. AI helps with speed and efficiency. So with that, I am done with my presentation. Thank you very much. And should there be any questions?
Okay, so thank you so much, Mom, for handling the session. It was very
No problem.
interesting. And so now let's have a Q&A session. So anyone, do you have any questions? So let's take this moment to ask questions from our trio. So you can unmute and drop the chat box for any questions. So anyone?